Welcome back again for the second session. I hope you people got really nurtured in the first session, which give the basics and how the nutrition is being given to mothers, and it is the foundation for the next generations. So now this session is talk about, we have done only half and remaining half we have to continue. I hope the second session will give the very good perspective from the diverse speakers, Dr. Vijayanand, Dr. Narsin Banu, and Dr. Santosh Kumar, and Mr. Kashinath Lakkaraju. Thank you. Lakkaraju. Kashinath, sorry. So I just got the message in the program. My apology for that. So I hope the participant will get more insight into the, especially the well-being. The nutrition is well-being is often, and the beginning is the most important part of the life. So I would like to hand over the mic to the moderator, Dr. Santosh. Please, the floor is yours.
Thank you, sir. Number one is Dr. Vijayanand, who is a consultant neonatologist from Rainbow Hospital. थोड़ी देर के लिए लाइट रहने दीजिए भैया. You can switch on for a little while. Thank you. And of course, apart from being a neonatologist, Dr. Vijayanand has many other flares. Like, he's also a poet. He's also a lover of Telugu literature and language. So we'll see all the flow today when he speaks. So thank you for being here, Dr. Aaryajanani. And and then we have Dr. Banu. Dr. Nasreen Banu is from Ankura Hospitals, and she's also a neonatologist. So these two people have been rock solid pillars for our LAMCON conferences, and now we are into NurtureCon. Dr. Banu again is from Andhra Pradesh, and very, very passionate neonatologist, passionate about breastfeeding, passionate about ECD, early child development, skin to skin care, and all the most important cost-effective treatment that is done in the NICU. So we have wonderful people with us in this panel. And along with them, we also have Mr. Kashinath Lakkaraju. Mr. Kashinath is director of Dhaatri chain of mothers' milk banks, which are being run in Nilofar, Gandhi, ESI, Gorakhpur, Noida, across India. So he comes with the rich experience of the operations in milk banks and how they are supporting mothers and newborn babies and NICUs. So can we have the slides on for this session? Now, before we go into the slide deck, now previous session was very interesting in terms of mother's nutrition, maternal nutrition, both prenatal, antenatal, postnatal. Dr. Khyati took us through the first 1,000 days of life, and I think very interesting slide that Dr. Lata Shashi showed, that not just the next child, but next child's child. So grandchild's uterus is being structured because of the nutrition of the mother. So such a wonderful presentation on the maternal health. Now on the neonatal health. Can you have the next slide, please? Yeah. So the most important, the child is the father of the man. So the child's health is decided, the newborn's health is decided by the father's and the mother's health, and more importantly, the mother's health. And how exactly the newborn's health is determined is we are going to see in this session. One of the important things, for example, that everyone talks about, and now we are seeing in the general perspective outside, in terms of some amount of data that is available on NFHS 4, NFHS 5, National Family Health Survey, that in Telangana and Andhra and India, more or less the early breastfeeding rate, and we have seen that for the first 500 days the child is totally dependent on mothers, is what we saw in the slide which Dr. Kathy was showing. So 270 days in the womb and 230 days she is latching onto the mother's breast, drinking mother's milk. But how long is this happening? How early is this happening? Are the most important and relevant questions. For example, in a country like India, where ancestrally we had the culture of breastfeeding, and in Telangana and Andhra, we see that the early breastfeeding rate is only 41%. 41%. And exclusive breastfeeding rate is hovering around 60%. So, early breastfeeding rate means, anyone wants to say? Early breastfeeding rate means, what does early breastfeeding mean? Very good. Give a big round of applause to that wonderful lady. Within 1 hour of birth. What's your name? Give a big round of applause to Akshita. Thank you. So within 1 hour of birth for a normal delivery. How about C-section? How about C-section? Why don't you say it louder? Baby is crying then 1 hour. If the baby is not crying, so for C-section, anyone? Four hours. For C-section 4 hours, for normal delivery 1 hour. Right? Anyone else? Any other answers? Please feel free.
6 hours.
6 hours. 6 hours. What's your name? Supriya. Supriya says 6 hours in C-section. Anyone else?
The baby's instinct, immediately the baby has to be on the mother's chest, and if the baby's instinct.
Why don't you give her a mic? Wonderful people are speaking. Yeah. दौड़िए थोड़ा fast.
It's the baby's instinct, I think, sir. Because immediately after the baby is born, it has to be put on the mother's chest, and the baby's instinct itself says like it moves towards the chest and it latches to the breast of the baby. So it doesn't depend on if it is vaginal birth or a C-section. I mean, I'm not a medical doctor, so maybe medical doctors have to tell this.
No, but give her a big round of applause. What's your name?
My name is Dr. Dhaatri.
Dr. Ragadipti, PhD, right?
PhD in pediatric metabolism disorders.
Wonderful. Thank you, Dr. Ragadipti. Big round of applause for her. So, be it C-section or normal delivery, it is within 1 hour. Within, zor se boliye, within 1 hour. So, this is not dependent on which type of delivery. It is important that the baby crawls, goes to the breast, latches, and within 1 hour. So this is called early breastfeeding, and it is a very, very important statistic. So the health of the newborn, the mother, the whole family, the future, the country depends on that. And exclusive breastfeeding is another very, very important thing. So we are going to learn a lot of things in this session. I'm not a clinician, I'm a public health guy. So I don't know a lot of clinical, I don't have clinical acumen. People who have clinical acumen are sitting here. So we have Dr. Vijayanand and Dr. Banu. So do you want to first put on some slides, or do you want to take some questions?
Sure, you can, whichever you want.
Next slide.
Start with a nice yoga there.
Okay, so go ahead.
Okay. So, just emphasize the importance of nutrition. Yeah.
Lights off, lights off.
Lights off. शिशुर पोषणं आयु बलं उद्दिश्य कारणं प्रारंभे सुव्यवस्थितं जीवनस्य शुभं फलम्. So, समझ में आया? अर्थमैंदा? Okay. For you, so the nutrition in newborn feed and infancy actually gives strength, wisdom, but life. Without that, you don't have a life. So, when well established in the beginning, as rightly said, it yields a lifetime of well-being. It is a right start and it should be. And first of all, before I go into further, I want to thank Dr. Santosh Garu and the entire organizing committee of the NurtureCon and to inviting us is an interesting and because we always meet the clinicians, but it's a very different perspective. And he said clinician, but actually the breastfeeding shouldn't be among the clinicians. It should be beyond that. We actually over clinicalize a lot of stuff in the world, and we are no except in India. So I think with that note we can start. Thank you, sir, and bring us to this platform
So,
to learn more.
over to you. So,
Yeah, next slide.
so we can have slides. Do you want to
Yeah.
come here?
Oh, yeah, okay. I mean, it's your I can come there. Yeah.
Yeah. So, have your
So,
slides.
brief overview. So, I just take on to the previous panel and just remember what Dr. Govind Raju said. If the soil is not right, the crop which is coming out of will not be right. తల్లి ఆరోగ్యం బాగా ఉంది, తల్లి బాగా ఉంటేనే బిడ్డ ఆరోగ్యంగా పుడతారు. The mother's nutrition is not right, then the whole story does not. I'll just give an anecdotal example here. So I was doing a ward rounds in New Zealand. I was working there. One of the professor, Frank Bloomfield, if you Google, you get his name, and he's a nutrition is his area of interest. So I was presenting about the baby. I said, "Oh, 10 hours of life." So that's what we present in the medical rounds. What do you mean, 10 hours of life? You mean 10 hours of postnatal life. So that means life does exist even before baby was born, which is very precious, 9 months. So can I have the next slide, please? So can I have next slide, please? Yeah. So again, this slide doesn't look right here in the color base. So it starts with the fetal life and neonatal infancy and adulthood and so on. Whatever is happening during your pregnancy and newborn and infancy is going to impact you for the lifetime. And it is very important to target at those early levels, and we had a very excellent session about the metabolic nutrition. Can I have the next slide, please? So, what happens if you are not taking care of the nutrition properly in the mother itself? All the baby's organs can be shrinking in the fetal life, and it can change the phenotype, how the baby is going to express various proteins through the epigenetic. I've got more slides to show you. So the DNA methylation can change. So this is going to, so not only by genetic what you have, on the top of that, your genes, the way it works is going to be modified. You might have heard the word epigenetics. Yeah? And then what you feed, how you feed the baby, how the baby is born, change the bacteria you have. There's a lot of research evidence that the bacteria of the babies which are born vaginal delivery are very different than the bacteria those are born by cesarean section. Again, this whole is a different discussion, but these all ultimately change how your nutrition will influence, okay? And then this is all the nutrients which are come through the mother, through the fetal life, and also during the lactation will influence the neuronal growth That means your programming of the brain can be changed. Such a simple thing we think of the nutrition. Can I have the next slide, please? Okay? Yes, done. So if you just a diagrammatic representation, if mother has any of those illnesses, undernutrition, stress, the way she thinks, the what she thinks, and the stress can influence what recent studies have shown. The placenta is a sensor. It controls how it grows, what it lets to the baby. So if the process, I'm not going into too much of technical detail here, the processes, if the mother is stressed, if the mother is not getting enough oxygen, or if she malnourished, the mTOR, which is the sensor in the placenta, will limit the amount of the nutrients or the various proteins which reach the baby. So ultimately that impacts the baby in the form of growth restriction, and the whole programming of the baby's body will be changed. Imagine, which we don't put thought into it. So there's so much happens in those 9 months. Can I have the next slide, please? And you can see, again I'm not reading, so when things are not right with the mother, could be poor sanitation, undernutrition, or stress, or lack of macro or micronutrients, can cause the low birth weight. The problem of low birth baby is very prevalent in India, and IUGR and the infant growth, the small babies. And then overall, that programming is done for life. As the adult, they will develop diabetes, they will develop hypertension, they will develop all other lifestyle diseases which were actually programmed initially. So you might have heard developmental origin of diseases. Okay, next slide please. Yeah, so again is an example of a diagrammatic representation how it is so important, the nutrition of the mother and nutrition of the baby in that early phase. Can I have the next slide please? Okay, this is a simple study, just 30 seconds. Where they have done is they have cut off the supply to the rat, fetal rat, and uterine supply, and seen what happens to those babies inside born. And whole thing was changed. All organ development has changed. The genetic impressions were changed. Ultimately, these rats later on developed what is equivalent to diseases we develop. So the fetal life nutrition is very important, and equally we should be carried on to the postnatal life. I started there. So you will be talking about the breastfeeding. So I'll just say one word. The breastfeeding is a breastfeeding. This is an amazing biological fluid on the globe. Nobody, no one, anywhere in the world can replace it. It is ప్రతి క్షణం బిడ్డ యొక్క అవసరాలకి అనుగుణంగా మారేటువంటి జీవ రసాయన ద్రవం. Can you believe there are live cells in it? It is just not nutrition, beyond the nutrition. I stop it there, I'll hand it to you.
Thank you, Dr. Vijayanand Garu, for that wonderful how mother and babies connect is there. And post delivery, as we are looking at it, so please switch off both the lights. Yeah, ఇది కూడా switch off చేసేయండి. See, one of the important things that we notice, breastfeeding these days, when we speak to many mothers, many parents, many families, they keep saying, sir, we have stopped after 2 months because it has become very stressful. I'm also going to work and I didn't get leave, so I couldn't breastfeed. So that is what some mothers say. And many scenarios that we see, that the baby is given formula feed in most of the settings. And why this is being done is there is a very powerful lobby which is lobbying for this. You see, especially more than in urban, in rural settings, rural mothers are now feeling that their baby, if the baby has to become chubby, healthy, fluffy, puffy, very, then they have to give all those formula feeds which are there where you see ads. But the baby is chubby, Baby is fluffy, but nothing is there inside. It is obesity. Even newborns, as 3 months, 4 months old, they are so obese because of this, that they develop all sorts of complications. For buffalo's milk is made for buffalo's calf. Cow milk is made for cow's calf. Human milk is made for our babies. Cow's milk, donkey's milk, goat's milk, buffalo's milk is not for our babies. So I think, having said that, let's look at this. Can you go back to the previous slide? Yeah. So, one important thing that I would like to tell here is, as Dr. Vijayanand was saying, in human milk, calcium, carbohydrates, proteins, fats, other things which are there in cows, buffaloes is also there. But apart from this milk, breast milk, is not just a liquid which is being given. It has live cells. It has live cells. What are some of those live cells? What are some of those live cells? Antibodies. So, from where are these antibodies coming? From the mother. How many sorts of antibodies are coming? Three types of antibodies are there. Apart from antibodies, what are there? Stem cells are there, which have regenerative power, which also have HMOs. All these things are helping. The growth factors are there, interleukins are there, many things are there which are helping. So this breast milk is not just carbohydrate plus protein plus fat. It is beyond that. It is the memory of the mother's mother. So IgG from probably 21 generations is downloading from one mother to other, is coming down. And this IgG has the history to fight those diseases which mother and grandmother and great-grandmother have fought in that geographical area. Those diseases which are there, the IgG is maturing, and that IgG is in the breast milk which is coming to the baby. IgM, which is there, especially for those mothers who might have had recently COVID, it will give a protection to the baby because the IgM is there. IgA in the mouth. So whatever immunity is needed in the oral cavity, that is being given in IgA. So it's very important. So breast milk is not just a formula which you can mix from a dabba, a spoon into the water and give to the baby. It is beyond that. So that is why mother is called God, because she is giving this magic potion, Amrutam, to the baby. And this Amrutam is beyond. God also might not be able to give what the mother is giving. So that is the greatness that the motherhood and mother has. So now we'll go to this very important question which is on our screen. Now, having known that breast milk is so important, Kashinath Garu, in your milk banks across India, how do you promote breastfeeding? Because milk bank means everyone is thinking there is a bank.
Yeah.
We can come and take a lot of milk from the bank.
Right.
So, are you giving lot of milk so that mothers can stop breastfeeding and you can give? What do you do exactly? Can you kindly, throw light?
So
Lights on.
it's a very good question, and day to day I keep facing these issues. Today only I got a request that some mother needs milk in Siliguri. Yeah, Siliguri. More than 2,000 kilometers from here. On her area. And I also keep getting requests from IVF for babies and all that. So surrogate mothers, after delivering the baby, they can't feed the baby. So somebody called me and told me, sir, support me for 6 months. I'll give you as much money as building a new breast milk man. So he asked me how much it costs. So that is the desperation people have. And unfortunately, people are not looking at the people who are next to the thing. It is only mothers who are giving milk to the milk bank. Nobody else. It is a mother's milk bank. So mother has to express her milk. Give milk to her own baby first, then whatever excess is there, she can donate to the milk bank. That is how we promote. So the assumption that milk bank like any Canada bank, State Bank, Reserve Bank. No, it is not Reserve Bank. So we should get mother. So that's how people live. Next assumption is that, especially in hospitals like Millgro Hospital, critical babies come there from rural areas, different hospitals. Mother is in that hospital or in the village, and facility for staying for the mother in the hospital is difficult. In such cases, they just think that okay, milk bank will give milk. Yeah. It doesn't mean we may have 60 liters, 70 liters, 100 liters of milk, but it doesn't mean that it is ready to be given to the babies. It goes through a lot of process. So mothers have to donate milk, so that has to be promoted. So for this, the answer is that daily we go to the wards, and there will be attendants and mothers who are waiting there for their own babies. So we convince them, we bring them to the milk bank and make them express milk and take their own milk for their babies. First thing. Any excess milk is there, then we store it in deep freezers at -20 degrees and give it to the babies on the recommendation of the doctors, pediatricians. So that's how first thing is we have to convince the mothers. And apart from that,
convince the mothers to breastfeed their own babies.
yeah.
And excess milk has to be donated.
Yeah, first thing is, as he said, first we promote breastfeeding. Milk bank does not mean that we want to promote a brand name or, no, we don't do that. So, mothers have to breastfeed their babies. Next thing is, mothers on milk, if there are any latching issues or any other issues. Then comes this phosphate donor human. So
as a milk bank, is your primary role to store and give milk, or your primary role is to promote breastfeeding?
to be honest, it is promoting breastfeeding.
So all milk banks promote breastfeeding primarily, and then they look at milk donation.
Yeah.
So can we say that?
Yeah. 100%.
Okay. And when you promote breastfeeding, these mothers, if the baby is in the NICU and the baby is not able to breastfeed, how do they give milk to their own baby?
Yeah, that is where the lactation counselor's role comes. So our lactation counselors go to every ward and then bed to bed, and then find out the problem of the baby and also the mother, and then and there itself they show the positioning and latching, and if necessary they are brought to the milk bank, they are made comfortable, and then they are taught how to do that latching.
No, if the baby is not able to latch, if the newborn baby is very small,
Yeah.
how does the mother give milk to her own baby?
Yeah. First she can take the milk, and then Parada she can use Parada.
Valida,
And OG also can.
OG means orogastric tube,
Yeah.
and then Palada or spoon.
Yeah.
Right. So thank you so much. A big round of applause for Kashinath Garu. Thank you. So the foremost thing, there are a lot of myths that every milk bank is like Reserve Bank of India. There's a lot of milk. It can give as much milk as possible to everyone in this world, but it's not so. It has limited capacity. Thank you. And you guys are promoting breastfeeding rather than just doing milk banking. And I think it's very, very important. Next slide.
Thank you, Santoshi.
Yeah.
I want the doctors here to clear one issue where the milk bank is not there. Where there is shortage of milk for one baby. How that can be addressed locally.
Yeah, I think we'll take that discussion also. Yeah. So now it's a video. So is this Dr. Vijayananda's video? Or breastfeeding song. I think we'll come back to this video after the question to Dr. Bhanu. Huh? We'll go to the next slide, please. Next slide. Next slide. Huh? Next, please. Next slide. Next. Can you switch off these lights? Yeah, thank you. Yeah, mine I've already told, so we'll go to the next one. Next one. We can come back to this next one. Yeah, thank you. So, as we were discussing about breast milk for the newborn baby, and Kashinath Garu was saying that milk is given to the newborns who are not able to latch or drink onto the mother's breast. So how exactly are we giving them? What is the nutrition? Especially in your NICUs, you deal with babies who are 1000 grams, 900 grams, 1200 grams, fragile babies. So how do you manage these babies and their nutrition? I mean, this is $1 million question for many people. What do you do in those incubators? Over to you, Dr. Bhanu.
A very good afternoon, and at the outset I would like to thank Santosh sir for inviting me to this conference. So since morning all the speakers have been emphasizing on the fact how vital is the maternal nutrition for the neonate and for the generations to come. And it is much more vital in preterm babies. Can we have the next slide? So if you can see the graph there, the brain growth starts, like majority of the brain growth starts from 24 weeks of gestation and it continues till 2 years. That means 90% of brain growth happens during this period. So what's happening here? Baby is being born preterm, so with an underdeveloped brain. So this is the period where providing appropriate nutrition is very crucial. So if these babies are not receiving appropriate nutrition, it leads to overall reduction in the number of neurons, reduction in the brain size, and they do have thinner cerebral cortex. The next slide. So what does it lead to? Overall, these babies can have developmental morbidities later on. They can have poor cognition. Their IQ might be affected. So it's very vital to provide optimal nutrition during the preterm period. And it's not just about the brain growth. All the organs in the preterm baby are underdeveloped. Like the lungs are not developed, the gut is not developed. So all these outcomes also might be affected. So they can have different complications related to the lung, related to the gut. I will not go into the medical terminology. And as Vijayanand sir said, they can have long-term implications like these babies who are receiving undernutrition, they can have cardiovascular diseases. They are more prone for hypertension and they are more prone for type 2 diabetes. So the nutrition during this critical period just doesn't have impact on short-term outcomes. It does have an impact on long-term outcomes.
Thank you. Awesome. So can we go back a couple of slides? Yeah. One more slide. One more. Next one. Next. No, not back. Front. Forward. Yeah. So this is what I think Dr. Banu was saying about the gut also. Do you like to say a few words about this?
Human milk HMOs, what sir is asking is nothing but human milk oligosaccharides. They are the second major abundant component in the human milk. As you can see there in the graph, lactose being the first major component and human milk, the oligosaccharides being the second major component. So there are different types of HMOs, as you can see in the last circle there, fucosylated, silated and non-fucosylated. So what do they actually do? Human milk oligosaccharides are nothing but complex carbohydrate. They serve as substrate to good bacteria. Okay, so they actually influence the gut microbiome. If we don't provide human milk oligosaccharides, so if the baby is just fed with formula milk, the entire gut microbiome is disrupted. So these babies end up having many chronic diseases also. Not just that, HMOs have an increased, as you can see, it has a role in improving the immunity, it has a role in decreasing the inflammation, it has a role in keeping the gut barrier intact. So HMOs, I think nowadays it's being more emphasized on, and that's the importance of giving mother's own milk as compared to formula milk.
Thank you, Dr. Banu. I think those are wonderful points that you shared.
Very quick comment, sir.
Yeah, please.
So, going back to the question about the human milk bank and donor milk. So, a pasteurized human donor milk is only a better alternative. So, mother's only milk is the way forward. There's nothing can replace mother's milk. And when you pasteurize these milk, which are told, these HMOs are lost and many more. But it is only an alternative, okay? But as that Santosh sir and Kashi sir and entire Sushena team, they do tremendous job in promoting breastfeeding. That's why the encouraged term now to be used is comprehensive lactation management units rather than milk bank, and that's what they do. So donor milk is only an alternative when there is no other choice. Okay, I stop it there.
So, thank you, Dr. Vijayanji. So as rightly put forth by Dr. Banu and Dr. Vijayan, the first and foremost is direct breastfeeding. If the mother is not able to directly breastfeed, she can express and keep the milk, someone can feed. But even when they are feeding that breast milk which is at room temperature, it should not be fed by a bottle. The moment the baby latches to a bottle, the baby will become the laziest baby on earth. Because with gravity, the milk is going directly. No need to use any muscles. So better to use spoon or palada. Don't use a bottle even for expressed breast milk. Third thing, if the breast milk can be kept in the refrigerator, it can be used for 2 days, 24 to 48 hours. Still, lot of these HMOs, immunoglobulins, everything are saved. The fourth option is if the mother does not have enough breast milk. Then what we are doing now is donor human milk is pasteurized. But even before pasteurization, if the mother and the donor, they know each other, the donor is HIV, Hep B, everything negative, and they are fine, then direct donor human milk without pasteurization also can be given, because HMOs and everything is there. And this was very, very common in India with wet nursing. In Charaka Samhita 2500 years back, in Kashyapa Samhita 2000 years back, a mother who gives breast milk to another baby is called Dhaatri. And Lord Krishna received breast milk not from biological mother Devaki but from another mother Yashoda, you all know that. It is there in all scriptures, not just in Bhagavatam, but also in Bible and also in Quran and other things also. I have recently learnt from our Mumbai friends that wet nursing was very, very common across the globe. So, fourth or fifth is that. Sixth is wet nurse. Wet nurse can express milk, you can keep in the refrigerator and then give. Seventh alternative is pasteurized donor human milk. Even pasteurized donor human milk, if the mother is expressing only 1 ml, 2 ml, 3 ml of milk, and the pasteurized donor human milk is 100 ml, then Dr. Govindaraj, who is sitting here, is talking about fortification. So this milk and that milk can be mixed. 2 drops of mother's milk, fresh mother's milk, if put in pasteurized donor human milk, and if it is kept for 3 to 4 hours, more than 1 trillion bacteria will multiply in that. 1 trillion. And this bacteria is helpful bacteria which will lie in the gut. And also HMOs which are there, they will also help. So this is fortification. Human milk fortification. By mother's own milk, you are fortifying pasteurized donor human milk. So these are very, very important for newborn baby, and newborn baby's nutrition is dependent on this. So don't switch to formula feed. Don't write formula feed. Don't encourage formula feed. And I think that is what Dr. Vijayanand, who is at Rainbow, and Dr. Bhanu, who is at Ankura, are doing. A big round of applause to these stalwarts who are working for the cause of breastfeeding. Everyone, if we work towards this direction, I think we will have a better country and better population, less diseases, as they have been saying. So I would like to ask Dr. Bhanu once again that human milk oligosaccharides, you have told, reduce risk of infection and many, many other things. But we are also hearing a lot about NEC in the newborn intensive care units. What is this NEC and how does HMO and NEC, how do they work together and what happens exactly? Can you give us a little bit more light on this?
So NEC in its full form is called necrotizing enterocolitis. So it is more commonly seen in preterm. I would say it's a disease of a pathological entity which is seen in preterm babies. So in NEC what happens is the gut is inflamed and necrose, and there are various grades and severity. So what is the cause of NEC is, first thing is prematurity. The more the baby is premature, this baby is more at risk of prematurity. And on top of that, there are many practices which knowingly or unknowingly that are practiced all over the world, like keeping the baby NPO, means you are not giving anything orally because you are thinking that the baby is sick, baby is requiring some form of respiratory support, and you should not feed the baby orally. So on one hand, you are not providing nutrition to the baby naturally, and on the other hand, what happens to the gut which has to function normally, it is just there and it will be invaded with harmful bacteria. So all the good bacteria which you can provide by mother's milk, the HMOs which are very important in promoting the growth of good bacteria, you are not giving this good bacteria to the baby. And this in turn can lead to NEC. It's not just that single entity, it is multifactorial. But avoiding human milk, keeping enteral fasting, not giving mother's own milk for the baby is the most important risk factor for NEC. And another factor which again is practiced very commonly, giving antibiotics to the baby, broad spectrum antibiotics to the baby, which kills all the beneficial bacteria in the gut. Again, you are not providing milk, and on the other hand, you are giving antibiotics which actually kills the existing bacteria also. So you are causing more harm than any good to the baby, and this can lead to NEC.
Thank you, Dr. Bhanu. Wonderful. So necrotizing enterocolitis, we have learned, is one of the most dreadful diseases, and all neonatologists actually, fear.
Yes, scared.
We are scared of NEC. Once NEC comes, the mortality rate is so high. What we have to say to the parents, what will happen to the parents, it's a very big dilemma. And in all these places, if you have mother's milk, if you have support for milk banks, expression, and if mothers can give, I think what Dr. Banu was saying, it's so important. And this HMO acts like a very powerful chemical. Wherever HMO goes and attaches in the gut, harmful bacteria don't come and attach. So it is like a detox, actually. It's a very detox. And so wonderful knowledge we received on NEC and gut microbiota. Just to tell you what Dr. Vijayanand was also saying in terms of brain development, a number of neurons and brain being developed in the first few days and last few days after 24 weeks. I don't know who told between both of you. But more importantly, see, the number of neurons in our brain is around 84 billion neurons. Very recently there was a study which was saying 84 billion neurons in 270 days. 84 billion. After birth, neurons are not formed. We all know that, right? All the neurons are formed before the birth. And maximum amount of neurogenesis happens after 24 weeks. So, the number of neurons that develop in the human brain per day on an average is 100 to 150 million neurons per day. How many? 100 to 150 million neurons per day. Imagine. Every day the brain is being developed. And in the last, from 24 weeks to the 37th week, it is almost around 300 million neurons per day. 300 million neurons every day. So, this is so very important, that maternal nutrition for the future of the baby. So, nurturing means nurturing both the mother and the baby. And I think we have some wonderful videos and thoughts about this.
I'll just add a very quickly 30 seconds. Then there is a recent published article, a population study from Israel, and the population means whole country population. So what they showed is the babies who are exclusively breastfed and the babies who are breastfed longer, okay, 1 year, 2 year, whatever, has a significantly decreased the incidence of cerebral palsy. That means the neurodevelopmental outcome is much higher. These are the normal babies, those who are 35 weeks and above. And so if you are breastfeeding, you are going to have more neurons and better neurons. And also better neurons.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. So, keep it there. Next one. Yeah, that's it. Please, what's your video, right?
Yes, sir. Breastfeeding song.
That's the song, yeah. Before we play the song, I want to tell you about an interesting study which was done by a doctor called Dr. Zaidi et al. Dr. Zaidi and his team. This was a very mind-blowing study which was done in Pakistan. Pakistan, India, Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, Nepal, many countries across Asia, they were being heavily funded, I'll be very open, by a company called Nestle. To basically, to tell them that formula feed is much better than breastfeeding, and breastfeeding causes infection and formula feed does not cause infection. It was a very heavily funded study in 1970s and 80s. And you won't believe, this movie was made by Imran Hashmi, who usually makes other kinds of movies. But this is a very different movie that he made. And in this movie, he showed how doctors were literally funded by Nestle and how a group of doctors actually fought against this research and how they established how breastfeeding is more important and it is life-saving, and low infections than actually formula feed. The doctor's name is Dr. Zaidi. I want all of you to just do a little bit of research if whenever you find time. It was a very wonderful study, and this was published in Lancet, and after that there was a huge lawsuits on this company. So companies, marketing, they do a whole lot of game with research. We'll have to be very, very careful on which is actual good research and which is funded and fabricated research. We'll have to be very, very careful. Now going back on nutrition once again, on breastfeeding, this is a song written by Dr. Vijayanand, and we would like all of you to watch this wonderful breastfeeding song. Over to you guys. Volume. You don't have a... That's a good lunch. Can you pause it? Thank you. Big round of applause for Dr. Vijayanand. I want to tell you that what this young researcher has told, that those lines were there in the lyrics if you have watched. This is called breast crawl. As soon as the baby is delivered, the baby does not need any Google map to go to the breast to latch. The smell, the pH value of the amniotic fluid and the first few drops of the breast milk are almost the same. It's a miracle that the God has made. So the baby automatically, with closed eyes, starts crawling towards the breast. If you just put it on the mother's tummy. So all this is done in Nilofer Hospital. Last question to Kashinath Garu. How do you motivate mothers basically on breastfeeding inside, outside the hospital. I know that the requirement of Nilofer is huge. It is like 18,000 babies every year that are admitted. How do you manage the expectation of newborn requirements? Because there's so much of milk required. What do you do?
Yeah, apart from mother's own milk, we give about 150 to 200 liters of PDH, those partial normal milk, every month. I think you should give class. Not to me, to my team. Okay. Because unless they put in effort, they do the counseling, it won't come.
You have a team member here?
Yeah, we have a team member.
Mr. Narasimha has come.
I fondly call him Shishupal because he's bringing milk to Shishu.
Kindly come here.
Nathurava garu, he
Yeah.
is a LIC agent. He's a LIC agent and anywhere community mothers who have stored milk, they call us and we give him the address and he goes there and brings the milk. He himself brought 600 liters of mother's milk, 600 liters.
Big round of applause.
So, very motivated. I think if we can have 10 or 15 people like him, then we can, transform the entire state.
Every city must have one Narasimha garu.
Yes.
So do you pay him some money for this?
No, we don't pay him. In fact, at times I tell him, you take care and we'll pay for that. He doesn't take that also. So, he goes on his own. He doesn't take anything. He doesn't take even chai or coffee from us. So,
Thank you.
only if he is in mood, he will take.
Thank you, Narasimha. So you collect milk from outside.
Yeah,
So how do you motivate those mothers to donate milk who are there outside?
yeah. Now, there are many social media addicts like me, so we are very active on social media. You can see our handle, Dhaatri Mother's Milk Bank and Sushena Health Foundation on Facebook, Instagram, X and all that. So we keep posting the success stories of mothers and provide babies, and that motivates many mothers, many other mothers, even like Bhutta Jota, she has seen on social media and also her doctor has recommended her. So she came further and we took the milk from her.
Who is Gutta Jwala?
Bhutta Jwala is I think audience should. Who is Bhutta Jwala? Badminton?
Player. Yeah.
Be confident. Yeah, she is a world champion in badminton. And she runs an academy for badminton, training people on badminton. So such people, many people, many doctors, Dr. Rakshita has come. So some more doctors are going to come. They have donated 20 liters, 60 liters, 70 liters, like that. So even we are going to felicitate. So that's how the awareness goes on social media, and also, in fact, I and Mr. Nathurava are part of one bhajan group. So in that bhajan group also we say that these things are happening. We introduce others. So he introduces himself that he is volunteer of Dhaatri Mother's Milk Bank. So
more importantly, for example, social media is one aspect. You and him are interacting with a lot of people. So do you also motivate mothers in the community through any other collaborations, or how do you do exactly?
Yeah, because we also conduct annual programs like we conduct the World Breastfeeding Week for 1 week. So we go into the community, we go to different communities, assist them, and also we conduct training programs, orientation programs to ASHA workers and Anganwadi workers.
Perfect. Thank you. Thank you. So I think that is most important. Thank you so much, Kashinath Garu. Conducting awareness sessions with Ashas, Anganwadis, ANMs, I think that is the key that you have brought out and you collaborate. So you also have a milk bank in Rainbow Hospital, Dr. Aaryajanani. So what do you guys do?
Yeah, we have got a very small milk bank.
But I just want to tell you,
So,
see, if someone is giving milk and you're giving milk, are you selling it or you
No.
doing it free of cost?
so
or-
it's completely free of cost, and our NICU is a formula fee, no formula we don't.
So your hospital is losing money because you don't sell formula,
NICU.
NICU,
Yeah, NICU, yeah.
and you're
So-
giving milk.
You are giving milk and it's completely voluntary donation.
Big round of applause.
And the cost of the milk bank is managed by all the running cost is managed by the management. So there is no return on this, but the return is about the babies going home well and babies receiving the human milk only.
Wonderful. So Nilofer में तो हम करते हैं मुफ्त में, free of cost, but you're also doing it in a private setup like Rainbow. Ankura, how do you encourage milk, breast milk, human milk?
Yeah. Recently in Ankura, LB Nagar also, Mulki Srinivas sir and Santosh sir, they have started milk bank in Ankura branch LB Nagar. So the same thing, we mothers, the babies who need mother's milk, it is not sold. And even for the voluntary donations, it happens voluntary, they are not paid. That is also very important thing to be remembered. And there are some commercially available, I think we should not go into that aspect. There are some commercially available donor human milk also available, but probably that's not the way to go forward. It should be very transparent. Milk banks should be set up. More and more milk banks is the need of the hour, and it is entirely free.
Perfect. Thank you so much. So Ankura also has started the journey of milk banking and you're also giving it free of cost. So overall, I think the newborn nutrition, neonatal nutrition is immensely dependent on maternal nutrition and the newborn breastfeeding, and if not able to latch, then probably an option of expression of milk and then giving to the baby mother's own milk, and if not, then donor human milk. Thank you so much, the esteemed panel of Kashinath Garu, Banu and Dr. Aaryajanani. So takeaways for all of us. Number one, breastfeeding is breastfeeding. Tallipalu muddu, dabba palu muddu. So I think this is the biggest takeaway for all of us from this session. And I think if we can give a good start for the baby by breastfeeding, then I think the next 100 years for the baby are paved healthily. Thank you so much. Thank you. Over to you, to the chair, Dr. Govindraj, for his final comments.
Thank you. So being in the outside of the medical or health professional, so I learned many things, and I hope my pulse is understood by Dr. Santosh is moderated very well. Thanks for that, first of all. So we have heard from all the three and plus Santosh comments, and it is insight. So it is well said that the halfway we are progressing, but I would say that it is very critical that breastfeeding is to be promoted in coming generations, especially within the house is the champion to promote to the rural as well as the urban area, in the school or college, and this is very critical education, so what India is needed now. So why I say this is very important, we see that the human body as a health of future. Be mindful while eating also, because that is very critical part of the food system. So the food system should help and complement the human health system. So therefore, we can complement each other and grow both the planetary health and the human health. So this looks like independent, but its work as into more of dependent oriented. So I would say that if you see, okay, if the 90% or 95% of the brain development happens is less than 5 years, the still 5% is there. I don't know how many the doctors know. It's still, we are all in what age we can achieve the 100%. But you can achieve at least, close to 100% the nutrition through the food system. So the history started, the Kronos said everything, but we need to follow and carry in the modern way. So all we use the modern technology, modern messaging and everything, but this is very critical part how to encourage the mother nutrition. As I said, the mother nutrition is not an individual or human issue, woman issue. It is nation to develop the next generation as health as possible. The nation should progress as economic development is needed, and the nation is needed more integrated approach to enhance the nutrition of every citizen, not just for India, but all over the globe. So the supplement is the one, the breastfeeding is the base, and the food fortification and biofortification should just come. So everyone has to contribute to the system of the nutrition, especially when the human is concerned. So I would like to thank and appreciate the milk bank approach I had the first time. So this is very critical and humanitarian action, I would say. So we should encourage. Please let us know how wherever we cross the path, and we can definitely promote your nutrition. Not for India, you can also the other 4 countries where we are operating, especially sub-Saharan Africa. So that's a critical observation. And so with all, I think we are running out of the time. I don't want to sit between you and the lunch. So thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, but we will. Okay, one question for Dr. Govinda.
So my question is, in some situations, there is a need that mother is admitted in some other hospital and baby shifted to some districts or some cities. So at that time, how long can a mother store her milk in the freezer, deep freezer? So this is the first question, and second question I have. The milk from the mother and keep it in the freezer in the hospital and giving for the babies. So this is my second question.
Yeah, briefly. See, if the mother is storing it -1 degree centigrade, then no problem, 1 month also we can have it. And if they are transporting, again, how they are transporting. They should have ice pack in a rubber box, and then they just get it within 1 hour.
We have something called as a cold chain. In cold chain, like vaccines are transported, similar way milk is transported at -20 degrees centigrade. We have transport deep freezers, in which it is transported. If transport deep freezer is not available, then in dry ice, in the thermocol box it is transported. So even for 6 hours, 12 hours, that can be there. It's all battery driven, so that is how it is done.
Does the hospital support taking of the baby? We are the last in the country.
My biochemistry professor was there in medical college. He used to go to playground, play. Before playing, he used to stand and breastfeed. And go and play and come back and again breastfeed while standing. So you can breastfeed till at least 5 years. It's alright, nothing wrong. But because mothers are going on working and other things are not, but happily, like he said, he was breastfed till 5 years. It's alright. complementary plus breastfeeding, but minimum 2 years. That is the next session. You asked the correct question for next session. So we have Dr. Malati and Dr. Madhurati are waiting about infant nutrition and complementary feeds. Perfect, thank you.
So, thank you, esteemed speakers. So, we would like to formally conclude this session and also formally start the next session smoothly.